like, again, Mousesports are loving the fact that this is Mirage right now. Let's see if their opening can be better than in the previous match when they started the CT and lost the pistol and couldn't get the money rolling. Here they are, the T side. You know, they started to find a lot of success there against Space Soldiers. Let's see how this goes. Nifty taking a poke up middle for some information. Doesn't see much though, only one player. And, oh, there we go. Very quick headshot from JKS. Quickly traded though as the might of Mousesports starts to press onto the A site, and they've managed to get themselves into a position where they can plant. So let's see if they can now play a decent post plant as Renegades start to rally the forces.
USTILO got to CT just after the bomb was planted, and ropz for that P250 will take his face off. And now it's down to Nifty, the sniper for Renegades, 1 versus 2. Don't know if he knows where Oskar is. He does now. Oskar and ropz trying to play the 2 versus 1 situation. ropz rotating around the box, getting that kill, and there is mad shouting from the Mousesports side. Yanko was asking if there was somebody on the team to rally the forces, and it definitely is at the end of the first round.
Well, that is the start they wanted, of course, and now all they have to do is battle against the force buy of Renegades. And this is a very important situation for Renegades. Even though they're obviously very disadvantaged, I feel like they need a boost confidence as soon as possible in this match. And they could maybe find it here with some creative play. There's always a potential with CZs, and especially playing the CT side on the force buy. There's always some sneakiness that can be pulled off, and let's see if they can get that done. Sunny's the one to run down towards connector. We see that this is a set play in this sense, as we saw this previously from Mousesports. Sunny doing the job with the Mac 10 down towards connector, the first man in, and there's a lot of fighting over in the middle, and it's almost all over, James. But there's some damage that has been done by Renegades, and still can't get it anymore. But 2 kills, is that okay? Are you okay with that? I'm okay with that.
It will have to do that. Renegades sent 3 people through B towards short in that position, tried to use the numbers game in mid with players streaming through connector as well. You can see it on the radar, all the blue dots around the middle area, but Sunny could use the smoke for some cover in that middle position. Presumably the failed smoke through into CTL ended up being his friend and helped him clean up. USP round, stock pistols for Renegades, not much is expected. However, they have chosen to stack the A bomb site, and as we saw in the previous Mirage, if Mousesports move into this quickly, then maybe some damage will be done here by Renegades. Any kills at this point would be a bonus. ropz getting his bell rung immediately. Maybe he takes a backseat here in. You can see he's doing exactly that, keeping the angles tight. And his teammates have made the bomb site safe for him. Azza, though, doesn't lurk in CT spawn, as you can see, but Sunny's looking for more kills. ropz will do the job with the high explosive grenade.
That was cool. Sort of it almost looked like the HE pushed him into the other player, but of course there's no knockback on those. It would be quite funny if there was not a knockback element to HE grenades that they could like push players around. But
it wouldn't be funny, Dan. That's all.
Should I not put ideas in people's heads?
They're annoying enough already. For those of you in GoTV, I would suggest Nifty for this match. I think if Renegades win, Nifty must win.
Yeah, this is a CT side AWP on Mirage. I can only imagine the kinds of monstrous plays that he is capable of. And it'd be fun to see him up against Oskar as well from that perspective. But Mousesports with a mid-take, we know how well they can take middle, how adept they are at this, and obviously how important it is on Mirage, and it's one of the reasons why they have such an affinity for this map. They have loads of great setups for this, and we see it here. It's being somewhat given up by Renegades. They're trying to keep tabs on it, and JKS goes down towards the shadow position, thanks to ropz lurking on the palace, really setting up this potential for an A play. But because Mousesports have 5 players alive and a man walking B-apps, they can still go anywhere on the map right now.
Sunny and chrisJ are the people to watch on the T side right now. They're the expendable players with the SMGs. ropz 8 HP with an AK, but he's not in position to throw it to somebody because he is in Palace for the time being. They start to stream into the A site. Nifty announces his position, missing the first shot. How much does he commit to this in this 3 versus 4? Flash from the position, down to 9 HP. That flyer will take his teammate out. He's been paid off, Dan. They've given him bitcoins.
Oh no. Oh no. That's a sad shame, isn't it? I mean, he was going to die one way or the other, but you hate to see it be a team kill. At least we're not back in the days when it was like, what, minus $3,300 for a team kill. Not that they would have been able to... I mean, they would have been in debt, James. They're so poor already. They don't have any bank to play with. So it's going to be a deflated start for Renegades, unfortunately for them. But for Mousesports, they're looking amazing. They had this this really perfect situation as they hunt down USTILO in this round where they took middle, they got 3 players into connector, ropz wins the 1 versus 1 around Palace. At the same time, chrisJ is pushing B apps. So this, and they were essentially sitting in connector like, okay, what is the call from chrisJ? That's pretty sick. And they could go B or A based on that. They had so many options, so much dominance. Renegades must make sure that they, on their buy rounds, they do not allow Mousesports to take mid so simply with these setups.
If you're wondering what on earth ropz was doing there, I think there's a lineup inside Palace that T's use when Palace has been smoked off, so they can walk diagonally backwards to throw a Molotov into the shadow position. And I can only assume ropz was either using that or one for a CT holding an angle when a smoke is down to find a kill such as that. The man, there is no limit to his brain power, Dan.
Yeah, that's actually...
His unlimited brain power.
It's quite funny, actually, because I'd never considered doing the lineup for the wall bang, actually, which makes a lot of sense. Because obviously people do it all the time for the Molotov, like you say. That's quite cool. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. And this is also another fancy way to throw that window smoke, which I don't think I'll ever learn, but it looks awesome, and it works. And we'll see window smoked off. And there's another pass push and a nade to greet it as chrisJ launches himself down there to say, hello, this is the welcoming party. The Flying Dutchman will die, though, as we'll have Sunny able to get some revenge, looking for all the frags. Only 3 more to get, though, with that Mach 10. He's closer distance. I like how active Sunny is. He's very explosive on this map. It's really, I think it's one of the, it might be the best map to watch him play on Mousesports. Yeah,
Certainly is at the moment. Now, this is doable for Renegades. Obviously, it's not likely, but there's a chance. There is a chance with Oskar holding an angle. I don't know if you need Oskar to throw a grenade in that position. I'd rather him just hold the angle, and that's exactly why. JKS taken out, leaving Azar alone with a UMP, something he may want to hold on to. There isn't much he has, but what he has is dear to him. Another man's trash will be Azar's treasure for this round. 5-0 for Mousesports. Pretty good start. And the money is starting to build. ropz and STYKO are going to be north of $10,000 following this explosion. As is Sunny. Money in the bank. Timeout has been called by Mousesports, in fact.
That's quite cool, actually. Quite interesting. I wonder what the, obviously... That is actually quite interesting. I mean, they had, a fair amount of time. There's not necessarily a reason to interrupt their flow, but perhaps, they want to just get on the same page. I'm not sure, maybe somebody on the team said, hey...
But it's good. You can talk about...
It's time for a talk. How are you feeling?
You can talk about what you can expect from your opponent, since they're going to have a maximum loss bonus now, so they'll have almost everything they want in this, as they're still with the UMP, it seems. But now that we have a fully equipped Renegades, just a reminder to ourselves of what we can expect from our opponent, or what we want to achieve.
James, is this real life?
Or maybe this was the discussion. Maybe this was the discussion. Perhaps inspired by G2 on Overpass.
chrisJ is like, I'm going to buy an AWP. I need to take a timeout to make sure I can tell everyone that this is okay, that I haven't lost my mind. Very hard to make this work, and ooh, that's interesting. And very nice by Nifty. A must-win 1v1 for him. We already talked about the dynamic there, but will they expect chrisJ to have an AWP?
chrisJ creeping through the Palace position, and ropz will run out, so chrisJ can hold the angle, but he may have been spotted already. Naflight on the stairs. chrisJ taken out, in fact, by USTILO, so the 2 sniper rifles have done nothing. People are on fire, having to move away. Smokes down towards CT. Bomb not planted just yet. Minute 15 as USTILO gets the bomb down. He's got a teammate towards CT, but ropz has been picked off as well. Not a good run for Mousesports so far, and it's already an expensive one for them.
Yeah, I think I can see what they were going for with the double AWP, but we'll come back to that for later. There is always still a chance with Sunny and STYKO left alive in this 2v4. Oh, this could be big, but Nifty with the 180 easily deals with Sunny, and they all will collapse after that. But I think it's quite interesting because they had the AWP on chrisJ still. He's in Palace with ropz, and I think we saw what the intention was there. Because they didn't smoke off jungle or stairs or anything really, so that chrisJ could actually get AWP picks. So maybe that was the idea, that for some reason they felt like that would be a strong way to play the situation. And well, obviously things didn't go their way. And that was a very expensive round for things to not go their way. Perhaps they did it because their economy was so strong, and and chrisJ was saying, this is an option for us, guys. Our economy is so good right now, we can take this risk.
when you know your opponent has a sniper rifle as well, it's interesting because you can go for the opportunist second one by taking it from them. But there we go, they made a play, it didn't work out. But you have to give credit to Renegades as well. They had the perfect pop flash to blind Oskar, perfect timing no less. But now we go to a new round. Lots of discussion from Renegades who are sitting near us. 3 people in the A bomb site as Mousesports start to charge in. chrisJ making inroads towards the site. JKS spotted and swatted by the default position. chrisJ with a triple plant. There are no CTs in CT. No one could stop him from planting the bomb. STYKO on the high ground around the smokes, but stays up there too long.
Now the smokes begin to dissipate. Ooh, down to 15, ropz. That was a close call. That definitely could have been him dead, but smoke there into Palace. That will be annoying for him. It'll be interesting to see how he plays around that. But oskar, he poses quite the threat. Maybe they wanted to save the smoke for oskar, doing all the damage here. Down to Nifty in a 1v3. We know what he's capable of, but this is quite the ask. And the bomb is simply too far ticked, too close to detonation. It will be a consolation kill for Nifty, maybe a second, as he whiffs ropz. And he will escape, not looking to push the issue too much. And a very important reset round from Mousesports. They will lose everyone, but oskar and Nifty will survive, but they will be very pleased with that.
Yeah, ropz going for the final kill there, accepting his death. Could have made an escape, but at this point, 6-1, ruining the CT economy is more important than saving his $4,000. Renegades on the buy once again. Economy's been reset though, and nothing is left in the bank. Nothing in their pockets but knives and lint. So they must be successful.
This is a good look, isn't it, James? 2 MAC-10s charging in. MAC-10s for purpose. They could have bought AKs, but they don't want AKs. They are going to use the MAC-10s for speed to create space. That said, USTILO is still in the site. Azza has made his way in as well, and all of a sudden, MAC-10s maybe not looking so good, as it's just oskar and STYKO left to try to clutch this 2 versus 4. Only 2 people on the site to contend with, initially at least, and that is something. But as time ticks by, we can see that everybody will make their way there. And STYKO, well, he is trapped in a corner, and he surely will die very, very soon. This has not worked out, James. I was happy to see the double MAC-10s, a buy for purpose, a purpose buy, but...
It appears that Mousesports perhaps miscalculated the strength of the buy from Renegades around what was saved, that 1 weapon. I don't think they were expecting so many rifles in this round. Renegades won 1 round of 7. And yeah, I think that was a nasty surprise, but they've got the money to weather the storm. But they can't make that mistake too many times, Dan.
Maybe they just expected no helmets or something like that, that was the kind of buy that Renegades would have at least. Because I do like the idea of having SMGs, even if you can't afford an AK, if those players will just be like first men in. I think there is, value potentially there, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. Nifty whiffing the shot there, opportunity missed. Have to see if another presents itself, as once again we see this focus on middle from Mousesports. They are really, really doing this so well. I think a lot of teams can learn from them and how well they take middle, how many different variations they have to take middle to keep themselves unpredictable. And they have it now. So the next step is to develop it, so you have connector control, window control, or ladder room control, and then you can build around after that.
No control for STYKO. Hoping to forget the last game of Mirage that he had. 3 T's in the connector position once again. And ropz is lurking as per usual. Often found in Palace. This time he's on the ramp. JKS appears to be lying in wait. And Naf lies around triple, so Sunny may get caught out if he's not careful. Naf with the AWP, too many targets, can't decide, and oskar will take the decisions away. 4-3 now. Smokes down on the site. Nifty moving towards a short position, but oskar's waiting for him. 4 versus 2, 4 versus 1. The numbers dwindling. USTILO alone. Time to escape if he can, but oskar's already posted up through the crawl space. USTILO may not survive.
Oh dear. It's another reset round for them as well. They will have absolutely no money after this. Well, maybe around $2,000 to $3,000, but their loss bonus has been reset. This is just the worst case scenario here.
Don't do it, oskar. Oh boy.
No, he's going to do it, isn't he? Oh, I've seen it happen before, but Sunny gets it from the shop.
From the shop.
7-2 the scoreline, and it only... Well, I would say the projection is perhaps maybe 8 or 9 rounds. Obviously, I think only 1 save is required for Renegades before they can fall by. But obviously, they are having a lot of trouble here. You can see the frustration there from Naf. That's a huge amount of frustration.
That's the most expressive I've ever seen Naf.
Yeah, same.
Literally.
That is crazy, actually.
He keeps it in. He keeps it inside. So the pistols for Renegades. In a round like this, you don't necessarily, as the team of the guns, the T side, you don't really want to spend too much time in the middle area, as people will try to exploit you. USTILO and Azar may end up in a weird situation where they have a high ground advantage should the bomb head towards B. However, with ropz and chrisJ outside A, it seems the latter is more likely. But again, Mousesports spending a lot of time in the middle area. So now oskar and STYKO are alone there. And what is a pick there? Azar is making his way out of the apartment. And he was facing STYKO in a 1 versus 1, but STYKO's won it. So the bomb is secure. And now USTILO's position is known. chrisJ and Sunny will come from A to give STYKO the VIP treatment into the A site. And all is well.
I got to say, one thing that I want to see more of, which we saw against Space Soldiers, was, you know, Sunny, that they had a mid-take where they have a smoking window and the timing is really fast up short, and I think there's like a pop flash or something towards the short position so Sunny doesn't get killed as he does it, but he jumps up onto the fence, jumps straight into the window, and then just jumps into the smoke in the window and starts walking. And that's like, that stuff was very, very cool to see because it worked against Space Soldiers, and it's something that you don't see teams really do because it looked like that was a routine setup from Mousesports, something that perhaps they have saved for this.
I don't think they can consistently avoid vulnerability to connector though, because the connector smoke is on the A side. So if the CTs choose to run through it, if they've seen the demos before and avoid the flashbang, then you can't do that too many times, otherwise it becomes telegraphed. Kind of like when Device used to play against, we'll come to it later, because the executor's coming into the A site. ropz taken down towards the Palace position, 3 on the ramp, and there are smokes down, so they're still around to fight for. I don't know if they want to commit through this. Then it seems that they don't. They'll leave Sunny in situ. oskar and chrisJ rotating away, as is STYKO, heading towards B, where USTILO is alone. Renegade starting to spread out once again, not concentrate so much on A. So perhaps there will be salvation for USTILO.
You know, maybe he'll get the Xantares treatment. Someone will walk up to him and just shoot him in the face as he's looking for the spot. But he'll actually push into the B apps to get some info. Renegades right now could very much use some information. JKS investigating the A ramp. He's going to find Sunny, and will he die? Oh, that was a close one, but Sunny wins the battle. That's a really big deal. The bomb is making its way towards pit as well, and STYKO in the distraction has snuck into the window. And I think Naf looks like he's heard him, so that's a problem potentially, but the map control for Mousesports is unbelievable. Nifty has a spot there, but will he tunnel vision onto this position? No, he won't. Able to take down chrisJ, expecting the push up ramp, but not the one from Palace. A 3v2 now for Mousesports.
Yeah, but they've got to get the bomb down. And look at USTILO's position in connector. Hasn't been detected yet, and now we've got problems. That trade is so important. Nafly knows that he has to push here. 10 seconds, 2 versus 1. Where's the second player? Oh boy, that went down to the wire, but way too much considering what Renegades had. In fairness, the first push into A didn't go well for Mousesports, and some teams may have just run through that smoke, and they decided not to do that, which was the right decision. But it wasn't easy after that. But they did manage to avoid the worst. Tactical from Renegades. You can hear chrisJ talking. You heard the man.
Let's bloody go, James. Let's do this. I'm hyped.
Right. So if you couldn't hear that at home, basically chrisJ said that they've always got someone to trade, and we're playing 1 by 1. That's the main thing you abuse on the T side is the numbers. It's the numbers game. You can concentrate numbers in one area if you haven't been detected. But on Mirage, especially around a connector, there may be ways around that. Renegades know this, and chrisJ is trying to refocus his team on these points. So let's see in the next buy round how that changes their approach, how they stop Mousesports from abusing the T advantages so much.
Yeah, just listening to that, I was pretty hyped up, so I hope that the Renegades are as well. Obviously, this is somewhat of a nothing round. They did get a pick off onto Sunny, and oskar's low, but you can't really too effectively fight in middle against the weaponry that Mousesports has and expect to win, although you can expect to get challenges at the very least. And we'll see a bit of information there for ropz, 1 in connector. I think they know that 1 is around the short position as well. So this is just a matter of time, really, for Mousesports to start abusing the information to get to the round win. And obviously, chrisJ has cleared the B-bomb site. So they have a sure thing in the B-bomb site, so they will be able to win this round unless something absolutely ridiculous happens, but it looks like that will not be the case. And we'll get to see, perhaps after chrisJ's talk, a reinvigorated Renegades.
ropz's presence around A has been quite a nuisance, whether he gets kills or not, because he's been seen in Palace, he's been seen on ramp, and he's in one or the other every single round, which compromises many of the positions Renegades would otherwise take up. They know ropz is going to be there somewhere. They don't know when he's going to appear, so they need to bear in mind all the angles that ropz could potentially take and try to stay out of those angles while it's not smoked off, and so on and so forth, while looking at connector ramp and so on.
If you are a lurker, he is a man to watch. Lurking is a very hard balance between being too inactive versus being too active. And ropz walks that line like an expert tightrope walker. He is really good at staying very active, but never really doing too much most of the time. There will be times when you don't have enough information, so it's hard to know where those lines are, but he is very good at that and making solo plays. So he is absolutely a guy to learn from if you are someone that likes those roles and plays those roles.
Worth adding, though, that if you're going to watch the role of a lurker, you have to bear in mind what his team are trying to achieve as time passes, because he's still a part of what his team, what the goal is. So you can keep an eye on the radar, try and figure out where he's being involved or where he's just doing his usual. And now we see a change, actually. ropz is top mid, and three people have taken his job. But can Renegades identify this? Why is ropz top mid? What the hell's going on? Well, nasty surprise for JKS, and he's doing a good job, only for a brief time, though. Again, the numbers game absolutely abused by Mousesports.
Wow, what a switch up, especially after the timeout. They wanted to surprise Renegades, perhaps expecting them to do something a bit funky, and maybe they did. And they just made the right counter strat for this round. Brilliant prediction from Mousesports, brilliant calling, but they have to close it down. 3 versus 3 here. Nice push in from Nifty, gets the first one. More to find, whiffs the shot. That might be a problem right now, but Azza's in there. Takes a critical damage. Sunny to finish him off with a 1v1, and he'll win that one as well. Naf unable to get the trade. Mousesports with another round. It was a good effort from Renegades after what looked like an incredibly strong start to the round from Mouse, but it wasn't enough in the end.
Sunny finding angles like when there's a hair on your mouse pad, and it just goes up. Nice stuff from him. 11-2. Mousesports all over Mirage. Still a match to play, though. 2 rounds left in this first half. Can Renegades get to 4? Looks unlikely considering what they have this round, but Mousesports have rushed against a bad buy and have not prevailed. But perhaps they've learned from it. Very interesting switch up. ropz top mid. 3 people bundling out of Palace. No time really to figure out what that means, ropz top mid or anything. Just go, go, go.
So 1 man down in this half buy for Renegades. They will be flush with cash in the next round, but it will not help them right now in this situation. And Mousesports have shown a lot of discipline in these spots. Again, everything is on the line here. Qualification to the next round is on the line. Loser will be eliminated from the challenger stage. There's not a reality that Renegades or Mousesports, of course, want for themselves. So taking every precaution here, trying to cross every T, dot every I, not miss a beat, and maintain focus in these long days here at the qualifiers. ropz now back into Palace. Very familiar with this position. JKS, though, wins the battle. That's an AK as a reward. And some information as well.
Do you wonder if, well, about the timing for Mousesports here, considering what they're up against and the fact that 4 players are still alive. They have Sunny through connector, very important, and they still have the grenade, so it does work out for them after all. The grenades will be a big factor in that. It's a good presence from there, but how do they play the post plant? They know JKS is likely still in the Palace position. Renegades can't afford to try and save, and they've got the money to buy anyway. They need these rounds, they've got to go for this. JKS not revealing himself just yet. Chris is in the sandwich. Waiting for JKS, and down he goes. chrisJ with 2 kills there, leaving Nafly as the last man standing. He will be the last to fall.
So clean from Mousesports. 12 rounds on the T side. We know how devastating their CT side can be. This is a very, very menacing situation for Renegades to find themselves in. And there's one more round to this half, and they absolutely must win it. It's looking very hopeless at the moment. Now, Nifty back on the AWP. They've got a great selection of grenades as well to work off of. Do they have an adjustment that can help them work around against Mousesports? They're looking very dominant once again. Middle control from them, very fast, want to go for the B split here. Flashbangs in, Azza though with the double. That's what we need there from Renegades. But can they convert?
Mousesports have to go fast now. Isolated the player on the B bomb site because Azza was so deep, and they picked him off as well. Flashbangs, and chrisJ runs into no man's land. USTILO takes him down, and Renegades will get a much-needed third round at the very end of the first half. But of course, the pistol will be key. Mousesports won the first pistol, and many more rounds after that. This is a must-win for Renegades.
Yeah, big round here from Azza. The pop flashes were there to try to stop him, but he finds a good timing through the smoke to get the incredibly important double kill. And imagine, you know, if they get, if like even one of those players gets past an up short, he still doesn't have a position to get those frags. You know, it all changes once the split actually works. But if you cut off one of the heads of the push there, then boom, much easier defense. And that's a third round for Renegades. Still a desperate situation, but at the very least, something else to work with.
Some discussion. There is some short time at halftime to have a chit chat, a chin wag, a parlay, and other such terms. Play together is the command. Play together and we win. Let's go. First comes the pistol. Nifty and Naf, the grenade men for the T side. Once again, STYKO as per usual, the defuse kit and the smoke grenade. Should it be required? Maybe to draw out T's later on, if not to defuse inside it. What is the plan from Renegades? That is the question. It seems to be A, but will it be a fast A? Will they deploy these two grenades? Naf's already got his selected, as does Nifty now. USTILO will be the point man. JKS in the palace. Sunny in the shadow position. Oskar and ropz around the sides already. So Molotovs have stopped the peek through the smoke. Very nice addition there. But can they stop Sunny? Yes, 2 shots straight in the jaw. ropz still in CT spawn. CT's looking around. Oh, there's a push from Renegades as well. That's a great play as the bomb goes down.
Yeah, ropz able to evade into CT. It was very important to keep the integrity of numbers here for Mousesports' eventual retake. 3 men strong from the CT spawn area, straight into Azza. Gets himself one critical damage done, but ropz with a great follow-up and a very critical tag there, finished off. Naf there by Oskar. JKS now with it all to do, the bomb being defused. He has to go for the shots here. The round will be lost, and it will be the bullets of Oskar to end the round for JKS, and Mousesports pick it up fairly comfortably with that retake. This is very bad for Renegades. At the very least, they got a bomb down, but there's no way to paint this other than it's completely horrible for them at the moment.
If you're Mousesports, then this is delicious. Tastes like chicken, perhaps. 10-round lead for Mousesports. All the guns, the utility, the advantages. Renegades have opted for the AKs in the next round, so it'll be a P250 party. With a smoke and a flash, a play for B, a double plant, perhaps. Deep grenades from Mousesports. STYKO. He knows his job. The back of B. Often don't see much action until you see too much action. chrisJ deep in mid, looking in the underpass. Oskar looking top mid. chrisJ is not too far away for a rotation if STYKO spots something, and he has. chrisJ making his way towards short. The flashes there. 2K for STYKO so far. If he can get the third, that would be fantastic for him. JKS in the red. JKS dead. Naf light jumping into the site. 2 players left. Can they get the bomb down? It does not look likely. He knows the player's on the site. No choice but to fight. Oskar will bring them 1 step forward. 14-3.
Very, very close now indeed to that victory, to the qualification, but also for the elimination of Renegades from a chance at the Boston Major. Oh yes, of course. No elimination due to Unrefusal being here, so scratch that. But Mousesports themselves can get the win through to the next stage. And it's all about this AK buy here for Renegades. Get some momentum going, crush what Mousesports have, get some hope. Trying to go walk out of apps. A very brave play here. Will work out. ropz is there. Gets damaged, but not the frags hit. And Oscar's on a scout. Oh my goodness. Oh, please, no. Oskar just trying to eat out of them with that scout. So far, so good with it, but he eventually will get traded out.
In your mind's eye, you just saw terrible things happening. STYKO, too many targets towards the end of that round. Renegades make it work. 3 players survive for them. Let's see what Mousesports have in mind. Seems they've made Oskar angry because he's bought an AWP now. So he's upgraded from the cheap stuff to the expensive stuff. Maybe too rich for the blood of Renegades, or perhaps not. They are well equipped. They are much better equipped. There are basically no grenades on Mousesports. They've got 4 rifles, a deagle, 1 flashbang, and 1 smoke grenade. I cannot think of a CT buy on Mirage with 2 grenades. I'm not counting the decoy.
Oh, as aggression is the answer to the ill-equipped Mousesports. And Oscar's got a good angle for this, and chrisJ gets the pick. Oh my god, they might be distracted here. Maybe there's an opportunity for Oskar as he actually has to fall back. Chris is still winning 1v1s there in the underpass, and that's going to initiate the push. They have to go into B. Oskar is waiting. He misses the shot. And that is a fantastic opportunity, potentially, for the Renegades. 2 players are left, though, as they take the engagements. The transfer, not actually successful for NAF. It's down to JKS in the 1v3. The taps come in, the spray comes in. Down to 38. 2 more players to find as Mousesports start to stalk, start to make their way around.
I don't believe he knows where chrisJ is, but chrisJ is waiting for the plant. Happy to abuse the numbers once it's time, but JKS doesn't know that. Doesn't know where these players are, and he's got the time to eliminate some of these positions. Is anybody around the pillar on short? No. Is anybody market? Maybe. One was seen there earlier on. Look how passive Sunny is. They're going to come from the same angle. Oh, Sunny's going to be exposed before chrisJ, or maybe not. The angles are perfect, and match point is with Mousesports.
That's a really cool way to play that situation from Mousesports. Now, a lot of players or teams may have, positioned those players elsewhere, but that's obviously a pretty safe setup for the trade. And if the bomb does go down, it feels very unlikely to see 2 players coming from short like that. I mean, you think you probably expect them to go towards the, around the shot position or connector, something like that. But either way, 15-4 now, Mousesports looking to fly into the next stage. All they have to do now is defeat a couple pistols and a couple rifles. How hard can it be, James?
How hard indeed. 2 players in the bomb invested on A ramp. Pretty much tells you the story of this round as far as the teams are concerned. Moving quickly towards a split, but Oskar is waiting for it. It seems they're pushing through the smoke, but action takes us elsewhere. JKS around the palace position as a picks up around connector. Oskar still fighting there. Sunny fighting elsewhere above the shadow position. That fight's forced forward without the bomb, and now the bomb's been lost. USTILO and Nifty remain. STYKO's rotating, and he's going to find a bomb on A ramp. So even if they get some kills here in connector, with Sunny pushing the ramp as well, it's going to get even harder. USTILO alone now, 1 versus 3 after the pick of Oskar. Pre-firing everywhere. 14 bullets, 2 players to find. The CTs have the bomb. He doesn't realize this yet. Looking for a crossfire. Sunny surely will have the jump on this. USTILO is convinced somebody's in CT. He's going to moonwalk straight into the end of the match. 16-4. That was all Mousesports.
Oh, wow. It certainly was, and Mirage has been a great go-to for them in this tournament. Again, despite the loss against Space Soldiers, I think anyone who watched that game, you saw a lot of class from Mousesports despite the loss, and I mean, Space Soldiers elevated themselves to a really crazy level to pull off that result. So, Mousesports' good track record on Mirage continues, and honestly, it's going to be interesting to see what else they can do on that map, and people might start trying to avoid it entirely.
Yeah, that was the solidest of solid wins for Mousesports. Definitely a return to confidence for them, and for Renegades, I don't know what the next step is after a match like that. What can you really take from that?